Morning all, how the devil? It's good to be back in my own humble dwelling, able to record. Now, 2 days old this story, but I figured I'd better cover it anyway, because it's a glorious triumph and vindication for sensible, logical chaps like me that have been pointing out the fucking obvious for months, years, before I started a YouTube channel. The civil service, the elites, the ruling class, and a large, significant number of politicians don't understand how deeply unpopular communism and Marxism is with the general public. They do not get it. They don't realise that the general public, you and I, dear listeners, are much more sensible and reasonable, the man in the street, than highly educated, brainwashed academics that have all of their focus pushed in one direction constantly for years, because it gives them an arrogance. It's almost detrimental to go to university at this point. People in the know in the USA have been saying it for a long time. Send your kids to trade school. Make sure they do plenty of reading and they study the important, the 3 R's. Of course you want to be educated in the basics, reading, writing and arithmetic, but going down the rabbit hole of going to a clearly partisan university, formerly great institutions like Harvard and Yale, that have been completely subsumed by insane brainwashed communists, is going to be detrimental to your education, because it's twofold. First of all, you only start learning about one very specific discipline, rather than simply doing what like a bricklayer does and reading all of the newspapers every day. Like, this is why the great British public has common sense. When I was working on the steel mills and stuff when I was a teenager in the borough before I joined the Corps, we all used to swap papers. Like, you'd go into the fucking the cabin and have a break for your dinner, and everyone has a different paper, and you'd read the Sun for 10 minutes, and then you go, I'll have a look at your Mirror, Dave, and then you'd swap with John and you'd read the Mail, and you'd go through like 4 or 5 papers, and you spend 45 minutes every day doing that, just while you're scranning your dinner, and you get a lot out of that. You get a reasonable and non-partisan view of the world, because you're getting a broad range. All the staff used to coordinate the papers. They'd be like, hey, make sure you get the Mirror and I'll get the Sun. Everyone gets different papers, and you just sort of know about general things. And this is what's been completely ignored by the academics. The fucking lunatics like Robin DiAngelo, who don't know anything. They're just funneled in one direction. They know tons about one tiny specific discipline, a shit fictional discipline in that case. At least if you're studying physics or chemistry, you're going to know tons about a useful discipline. But these twats like fucking Afua Hirsch and Owen Jones and that, they haven't even studied anything useful. They've studied whiteness studies, or gender studies, or, lesbian dance theory, or whatever the fuck it is they're doing. So not only are they funneled in one very narrow direction, but the second part of this poisonous duo is that they become extremely arrogant, because there's so much power invested in having an education from Yale. You just don't think you can ever be wrong. Whereas normal guys like me who've just got like 3 GCSEs from a shite school, but spend every day reading voraciously, because it's the only way to get free education nowadays. You know more than these people. Be confident in yourselves. Be confident in your own abilities and your own knowledge, your general knowledge, because you have more power than you know with an internet connection and a fucking Kindle and a mobile phone. You have power there. You can learn about anything you want. You can download the writings of Chaucer and Dickens and Shakespeare if you want to get into the arts, or you can read the scribblings of Michael Faraday or Isaac Newton or the gods of science and learn anything and everything you want. Everything Stephen Hawking ever said is at the tip of your finger, and that's a powerful thing. So never let these twats tell you don't know anything. There's that real snobbery from the left now, isn't there? You don't know anything, you're an idiot. If you voted for Brexit, you is thick in it. They say things like that. They despise you. They think you are a moron and you need the state to run your life for you. And the general public say, no, we don't. Which brings me to this fucking story, right? Of course, Rule Britannia is sung on the last night of the proms after a BBC U-turn. Of course it is. Because the general public, I don't know the exact figures, but it will be about 90% of them, don't have a problem with Rule Britannia. The tiny minority that has a problem with it are postmodernist academics that have been trained to despise everything British because they have a one-sided view of history. And again, ever the centrist, I'm well aware that Britain's done things not to be proud of, but normal people like you and I are well aware that you can have a nuanced opinion here. You can say Britain was good, XYZ, Britain was bad, ABC. Common sense. The knowledge of a fucking shelf stacker in Tesco's. Normal people have more basic common sense than brainwashed academics because they've been brainwashed and they're extremely arrogant. They never question anything. Like true believers in a fucking temple or a mosque. They are 100% convinced that everything they know is right. They don't have the doubt that you and I have. So they know nothing. Never let these people tell you that they know more than you, because they don't. They have the IQ of a fucking flip-flop, and they're not better than you. So fuck them. Which is why we're always right and they're always wrong. The morons, the highly educated twats at the BBC thought, because they live in an echo chamber, that they should ban Rule Britannia because the general public think Britain is evil and worthless. And the general public don't think that. It's got nothing to do with identity politics. I'm not talking about the gay general public or the black general public or the Asian general public. The general public made up of all those groups. Most black people don't hate Britain. Most Asian people don't hate Britain. Most LGBTQ+++ fucking helicopter unicorn don't hate Britain. The people who hate Britain are almost uniformly university educated, middle class spunk trumpets who know nothing and have no common sense at all. So of course they've fucking reversed it, haven't they? However, me being a patriotic, dutiful chap, I did select an alternative for use at the proms. I thought we need something that is beloved by multiple generations, is catchy, is accessible to children, maybe with like an animated video to bring the kids in, and most importantly is well aware of our colonial history, so maybe sort of Afrocentric would be useful to widen the appeal. So here's my choice of what we could have replaced Rule Britannia with.
Way down deep in the middle of the Congo, a hippo took an apricot, a grover, and a mango. He stuck it with the others and he danced a dingy tango. The rhino said, I know, we'll call it Umbango. Umbango, the trick-a-diddy Congo. Python picked the passion through the mammal, said the mandarin. The parrot painted bandits got the hunk of voodoo land it is. So when it comes to sun and fun and goodness in the jungle, they all prefer the sunny, funny one they call Umbango.
Libby's Umbango. High juice drinks.
Yeah, very inclusive, right? The parrot, the hippo, the alligator, the monkey, they're all working alongside each other in harmony. There's no power dynamic there. The crocodile's not like, fuck off monkey, I could eat you easy. Yeah, that's a very heartwarming message. So if they had got rid of that, Umbongo, they drink it in the Congo would be my second choice. However, common sense prevailed and Rule Britannia is back on the books. Great news, eh? So the BBC has reversed its ridiculous decision not to have Rule Britannia and Land of Hope and Glory sung at the last night of the proms. The U-turn follows fierce criticism sparked by reports that the lyric lists were being dropped due to associations with colonialism and slavery. Fucking hell. Again, the normal kids who just went to like primary school know that back in the day, slavery was the most common thing ever. Every single country practiced it, all of them. And of course Britain made a bit of money off it, but so did everybody else. They invented getting rid of it. One country, one empire, invented getting rid of it. It wasn't the Romans, or the Egyptians, or the Persians, or the Ottomans, who were butchering people in the 20th century. Google Armenian genocide if you don't know what that is. It wasn't the Japanese Empire who were fucking bayoneting babies at Nanking. It wasn't them. It was the British Empire. So they did some bad things and they did some wonderful things. They did some forward-thinking things that should make everybody watching this video, black, brown, Asian, gay, whatever, who was born in the British Isles, immensely proud to be British. proud of your heritage, proud of the achievements of your forebears and your adopted forebears. Plenty of black lads in the Royal Marines with me, relative newcomers to the UK. But they're proud that they were born there, they embrace the culture, they have the same accent as me. Well, unlucky if you were born in the Northeast and you fucking talk like me. It's all of our history now. It's the same in America. I was welcomed here and they said, you're an American now. So I can join in. It's very inclusive to use shit communist terminology. They're proud and happy to be here. Most of them are. Most migrants are. They're like, course I'm glad to be fucking living in London. I love it. It's much better than wherever my parents or grandparents left. That is inclusive. Hate. They talk about hate all the time. Who's burning all the cities down, smashing everything up and fucking shooting people in the head? The fucking far left. Conservatives in England, because they're a very centrist, tolerant conservative, are inclusive. They don't care about your colour or your sexuality. They care about what you think and what you feel. And if you love Britain and you embrace it, well, they'll love you right back. That's inclusive. Not some fucking communist rhetoric that a shithead who works for The Guardian comes up with. Anyway, there's the story. We knew it would be reversed because the general public demanded it. Because the general public always knows best. Listen to them. Fucking civil servants, politicians, MSM, Channel 4, Sky News, BBC. Listen to the general public. They are happy to tell you what they think. And what they think is that communism and Marxism is a fucked up evil ideology that ruins everything good. It's unbelievable as well that these silly bastards have the brass neck to call themselves rebels. Like, oh, we're against the fight the power, when everything panders to them. The civil service panders to them. The government panders to them. Channel 4 panders to them. Sky News panders to them. The BBC panders to them. If all of the talking heads are on your side and the institutions are on your side, how the fuck are you a rebel? I'll tell you who's a rebel. Twats like me that get banned on a whim by Zuckertwat and Doorstop and Wokjiki or whatever the fuck she's called for being a normal centrist middle of the road person, and they treat you like you're Adolf bastard Hitler because you don't subscribe to their obscene collectivist ideology. We are the rebels, dear listeners, you and I. So fuck them right in their well-reamed shitbox. They know nothing, these people. Nothing. So there's that. Oh yeah, one more thing I did want to cover. This is the most fucking despicable piece of journalism I've ever read. And this is what I'm talking about being indoctrinated. To see the video of that fella who got shot dead, executed like an animal, and shrug it off is despicable. And it shows that these people are dangerous and indoctrinated. All of us, people like me, when we seen George Floyd get killed, none of us, no normal conservative, thought it was okay. Nobody did. Nobody on the right, nobody on the left. Maybe a tiny percentage of ultra-white supremacist types who are not in office in the fucking US. You know, they talk like people like Ted Cruz. He's a dislikable cunt, but he's not a far-right fascist, is he? There are no people hold office in England or America that saw the George Floyd video and thought that was acceptable. But these lefty twats, brainwashed loonies that they are, you can see they basically think it's cool when a man gets executed like an animal, as long as he doesn't have their politics. Just look at the reading, even the headline, suspect in Portland killing of far-right protester, shot dead by US Marshals. So you're basically saying, oh, but because he's a far-right protester, killing him's alright, really. Yeah, fuck it. What planet are these people on? He wasn't a far-right protester either. He wasn't there saying, gas all of the migrants. He wasn't there saying, send all the black people to the moon. He was just there saying he's a patriot, he supports the police and he supports the president. Reasonable. Don't make it out like it's cool to kill a man in cold blood just because he disagrees with you. I mean, what fucking planet are these people on? It's despicable. Despicable. The video was shocking, and I'm not going to play it. I'm sure you've all seen it by now. Suspecting the killing of a far-right demonstrator. He wasn't a far-right demonstrator. Liars. He wasn't, and even if he was, he doesn't deserve to get executed like an animal. Michael Forrest Reinhold was shot dead by a federally led fugitive task force as he exited an apartment in Lacey, Washington. Didn't call him a far-left extremist. He shot a man in cold blood. They didn't say far left extremist Michael Forrest Rhino. No, they give you his full name. His full name to humanise him. They don't even tell you the name of the despicable far-right protester, the man executed in cold blood. They don't even tell you his name because he's worthless to them. He doesn't agree with their insane far-left extremist politics, so he's worthless to them. You don't need his name. He's not a human. He's beneath us. But Michael Forrest Reinhold give you his middle name, tell you everything about him. We won't refer to him as a far-left extremist for blowing a man's fucking head off for no reason. An unarmed, unthreatening man. It makes me sick. You want to know why I'm an angry bootneck? Because I read shit like this 2 hours a day. It's fucking despicable. And again, I'm not even going to gloat about the fact they killed this guy. I'm a man of law and order. When they arrested Lee Rigby's killers, I was proud of the British police that they don't just go around blowing people's heads off. They had a pistol that just chopped a man's head off, and they were still professional enough to take the man alive, to get him in front of a jury to be tried and sentenced like you're supposed to. That was a point of pride to me. It's not good to see anybody get killed because we need rule of law, we need order, we need rules, we need discipline, we need regulations. Civilization. There's nothing good about the fact the man didn't live to see the inside of a courtroom. But to dehumanise a murder victim and be as soft and sentimental and open-minded about the killer, the cold-blooded killer, just because you sympathise with his politics is absolutely despicable. And there is nothing liberal or tolerant or progressive about the fucking Guardian. It is a boil on the arse of humanity. And who wrote this? Tom McCarthy. Don't give him any abuse. You know what it's like on Twitter. Just have seething contempt for these people. Because he thinks he's progressive, he thinks he's tolerant, and he's despicable. He is far more intolerant and far more prone to violence and disturbing levels of vitriol and hate than anyone like me ever could be. Sleep soundly in your bed knowing that you are a better man than these fucking liberals. What a massive bunch of awful, despicable cunts they are. They're despicable and they don't even know it. Right, I think that'll do for one day. I'm back in business. I will be doing my BBC roundup on Sunday. I'll get that bastard done. I hope everyone's doing well. Thanks as always for listening, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Cheers.